Welcome to Agenda Edina, a program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. The City Council is discouraging a developer from moving forward with an affordable housing development on Lincoln Drive. Solheim Development presented a sketch plan to the City Council in late February. The development team's idea is to tear down the office building at 5780 Lincoln Drive and build a 3-story 81-unit apartment building and 2-story walk-up townhome building with 8 units. All units would be affordable housing. The proposal would require rezoning and variances from the city. The Lincoln Drive area near Londonderry Road and just east of U.S. Highway 169 was highlighted as a possible area of change in the city's comprehensive plan. The city is moving forward with a small area plan to guide development and redevelopment in the area. Council members gave Solheim non-binding feedback during the sketch plan review. However, there was generally a lack of support for the project until after the small area plan is complete and members know what is preferred by the community for that part of town.
What we're trying to do is make sure what we want to happen in that neighborhood has the right input from the community, from the city, from others, so that we can have a small area plan that everybody can stand behind.
A consultant will assist a working group in developing the final small area plan, which would be presented to the Planning Commission for review and recommendation. It would then go to the City Council for approval and needs to be approved by the Metropolitan Council before being adopted as an amendment to the city's comprehensive plan. Applications for the working group are being accepted until March 8th. Spring load restrictions are currently in effect. Streets are weakened during this spring thaw by water that becomes trapped in the gravel base below the pavement. The weight of vehicles traveling over these roads can cause the road to bend and possibly crack. Limiting the amount of weight on the street during this time will minimize the water and allow the base adequate time to stabilize.
We consider the spring load restrictions to be kind of an ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure. It's a lot easier to protect the road on the front end than it is to come back and patch it. And with this year, with not really having a winter and having the frost drive deep, it's even more vulnerable. So it's akin to a pound of prevention versus a ton of cure.
Most residential roads in Edina are restricted to 5 tons per axle throughout the period that restrictions are in effect, unless drivers have a permit. Permits are issued for 6 tons per axle. The road weight restrictions typically won't affect the average car or truck. However, construction vehicles entering residential neighborhoods may have to lighten their loads to comply with the restrictions or apply for a permit. Permits are $100 for 1 truck to 1 address for 1 day. They can be obtained online at edinamn.gov/load restrictions. Drivers can show the email receipt as proof of permit. Violators may be fined. An end date for restrictions has not been announced yet, but will be listed on the city's website once it's been determined. As of late January, Edina has a new assistant city manager. The person filling the position arrives already familiar with the community. Ari Lenz accepted the position in November after serving as the assistant city manager in Hopkins for 8 years. Edina TV shows us how Lenz's connection to Edina goes back even farther.
A new job usually comes with learning new names and a new location. But just feet from Assistant City Manager Ari Lenz's new office is a reminder of a previous job at the city.
Yeah, I was getting my master's degree from the University of Kansas.
In 2012, Lenz was a city management fellow in Edina, the first one.
I added the note up here about HR and staff and everything. So.
I think that looks really nice. I think that's a good
Now,
way to
she is mentoring the latest fellow, Jillian Straub.
I learned about all different levels of city management. I learned about all different department services, police, fire, public works, human resources, finance, pretty much everything that you can imagine that a city does. I had the opportunity to be behind the scenes learning about it.
an experience that would guide her career.
I had a strong sense of this is where I wanted to be and that I wanted to be in city management.
As with Lenz's previous job with the City of Hopkins, the assistant city manager must be able to work across all departments.
She's got to be able to work effectively with all those people. And I think Ari's combination of work in a very small town and then in Hopkins is really going to yield good results for us here.
Our stuff looks right.
Last year, an independent company hired by the city included Lenz in a list of potential candidates for the job.
Just got to fit within that time frame.
For the city manager, specific qualities stood out in Lenz.
It was a combination of expertise and energy and enthusiasm, right? She really has equal amounts of all of those, and those are all important personal qualities to be successful in this line of work.
Returning to a familiar place.
Edina felt a little bit like home.
With the experience to have a direct impact on different departments and service levels for the community.
Edina has a great reputation for offering professional services. I'm excited to be part of that team and to carry on that legacy.
I'm Dan Carpenter for Edina TV.
All of the 8 city management fellows who have completed the program have gone on to work in city administrator or manager offices. 2 are serving in the administrator or manager role. March is Women's History Month. The national theme for 2024 celebrates women who advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. The theme recognizes women throughout the country who understand that for a positive future, we need to eliminate bias and discrimination entirely from our lives and institutions. Thank you for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.